You're watching Newstainment Television.
Thank you, Preetham.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. Ayushmann, it's so great to have you here with us on this platform.
Thank you so much, Madhureeta. This is not the first time we're interacting, but it's always fun chatting with you.
Absolutely. So we're here to talk about how you redefine mainstream hero in Hindi cinema. So you started your career 2012 with Vicky Donor. And ever since, your choice of roles have been brave, they've been risky, they've been quirky, all of that. But what I want to understand is that, did you always plan this? Did you always think this is the role you're going to chalk for yourself? Or was it like you saw a space in Hindi cinema and said, yahan pe koi nahi hai, and I can seize this and make this my own?
I think in every time and era there's a certain space for every kind of character, every kind of actor. But in the 10s, there was a definite void of an actor who was also a character at the same time. And it was something new in the 10s, especially 2012 when Vicky Donor happened, that a protagonist was there in an unconventional film which did commercially well.
Right.
It was never the norm in the past, so I think that was the only difference. But yeah, I'll be very honest. In 2008, when I came to Bombay for the first time, Ranbir Kapoor made his debut, and there was this void of actors in their 20s. Like most of the actors were in their 30s or 40s. There was no young actor in the 2000s. And Ranbir made the entry. I was like, oh, to ye aa gaya, main kya karunga? Then Ranveer Singh happened in 2010 or 11. I was like, ye bhi aa gaya, main kya karunga? So I had no option but to tread the unconventional path. And fortunately it worked for me because Shruti Sarkar saw something in me. I was an anchor on television. So he was like, yehi hai. So I was like, okay. So I didn't even audition for that film. So yeah, I was quite fortunate like that.
But remember you telling me that you rejected like 6 films before Vicky Donor, right? Because somewhere you feared that as a newcomer, if you went wrong, you wouldn't get a second chance. I mean, that's a lot for a newcomer too, right? To have that kind of confidence.
I was very secure in my own skin. I was a television presenter that time, and that was the time when I was interviewing actors, and I was learning from them their mistakes or their successes or whatever they used to do. So I had this notion in my head that अगर मेरी पहली picture नहीं चली तो मुझे दूसरा मौका नहीं मिलेगा. And I had gotten like 6 chances before. I was like, but it didn't resonate with me, the script. But Vicky Donor was such a breath of fresh air. And Shruti Sarkar was such a not commercial director, but a very credible director. And I always thought that this film will earn a lot of credibility. But commercial success was beyond expectations. It was just a windfall.
But as your film started working, Dum Laga Ke Haisha, Vicky Donor, Shubh Mangal, the audience was applauding you, the media loved you, and they called you trailblazer, trendsetter, all of that. Were the chances that you were taking become less risky? Because I remember once you said that as you get more success, you're also more fearful of what could go wrong.
I have built the entire career of mine on risks. I just cannot not take risks. I can't really see myself in a typical commercial pot boiler. I don't know, I've always been an unconventional actor. So I had to take risks. The only trip in life is just to do something which is out of the box and novel, and probably the first attempt in Hindi cinema. Throughout the filmography, it's been the norm कि ये पहली ऐसी film होनी चाहिए. So it's that trip in my head, I guess. I don't know. I don't think about the outcome of the film, but I only think about it to be engaging, entertaining. But number one priority is it should be the first step towards that direction.
Right. Also, interestingly, you work with a lot of first-time directors. Is that also because you think they have the same courage to push the boundaries like you do, same courage to take the risks that you love taking?
Yeah, most of my films are with first-time directors. Even last two, Dr. G and Akshay, first-time directors. I don't know. I really think that the kind of risk-taking capability of a first-time director is far more than a seasoned one. And the kind of scripts that I get, by default, they are with the first-time directors. So I don't know. It's also I think about the budgeting of the film. My films are not like mounted at 100 crore scale or something like that. So the success of the film depends on the budget. So they're always within a budget, and it's easy to do the budget with the first-time director also. So it's just more practical. Already the subject is novel and risky, as I say, out of syllabus for Bollywood. So it has to be in a certain budget, so it just works out well.
So, there was a stage you reached, Ayushmann, where you went back to back, like a series of 6, 7 like hits, right? And, I can't say you made a niche for yourself. It's a small word. I would say it's like you were a genre. You made a genre for yourself. That's fascinating and rare. So, firstly, I want to ask you, was that very flattering? And secondly, did you at some point feel there was a lot of onus on you to constantly deliver films in that genre? And, you became like the face of changing cinema. And it comes with a lot of pressure too.
I never thought like that. Probably it's a default setting. It's by default, I think, not by design purely. I just focus on one film at a time. That this film should be of a certain space and, should engage the audience in a certain way, or maybe give some intrigue. And I know that there were back-to-back 7, 8 commercial successes. Right. All were unconventional. But I never thought that I'd be making a genre for myself, like it would be called an Ayushmann Khurrana genre. It's too much to think about. I just take one film at a time. I was doing my own thing. That's it.
Right, yeah. But you were the face of changing cinema. Were you really proud of that change you brought about in our cinema with that? Because after, the Ayushmann name happened, filmmakers realized that you don't always need 10 more films. You don't need large-scale budgets. You could have a star like Ayushmann and a great story and work on the content and deliver such great cinema.
I think this conspiracy theory is changing every film after pandemic. Like initially people were thinking only big ticket films will work. Then they were thinking no, now Kantara has also happened. And then Drishyam 2 happened. Then we're thinking only franchises will work after Badhaai Ho and Drishyam 2. But I think if you go out there to make an engaging film which appeals to a larger segment of audiences, I think you are home. So we're all in that self-discovery phase after pandemic. And I think if it's made within budget and released in a good time and space, I think it'll have its own share.
Yeah. So when you said you set your mind to break the mold, we've grown up on a certain kind of hero who looks a certain type, walks a certain way, speaks a certain way, right? You were nothing like that, and you broke the boundaries, and you are where you are today. But was there any fear of perception? Because it was a huge perception to break, right?
Yeah, I think, again, I'll go back to my first answer where I had to just use my own space, and there was a certain void of that kind of a protagonist who was not larger than life, who was real, who was imperfect at the same time. And I made that route mine, so it's the timing. Yeah, I seized it maybe. So even moving forward, I'm not really obsessed with my own character. I'm just obsessed with the stories as a whole. I may not be the main driver of the story. The characters around me are also very, very strong. Be it somebody like Jaideep Alawad, an action hero, or Rajkumar Rao in Bareli Ki Barfi, Gajraj Rao in Badhaai Ho, Bhumi Pednekar in Dum Laga Ke Haisha, Tabu in Andhadhun, Neena Gupta also in Badhaai Ho. So it's well rounded, not just. It's not
just about you, exactly.
It's about the story.
Yeah.
So I think stories excite me.
Right. But if you look back, you have so many memorable characters. Any one that you would like to revisit or relook at or rewrite if you had to? Or do it differently?
I don't think I can do anything differently. I have no regrets or nothing. I just move on very quickly. I'm very detached as an actor, which is very important to be detached, because if you're doing 3 films a year and you're attached to your character, you just can't. It's too much of a baggage. I was shooting Andhadhun and Badhaai Ho simultaneously.
Right.
2 different films, 2 different genres. A guy next door in Delhi and probably a pop musician in Pune. So I think there were 2 different characters, and it was not easy if you are taking that character home. So it's very important to be detached.
But is any one role that stands out where you've been really consumed by it?
I think Ayan Ranjan in Article 15. That's the only film which has a certain dark tonality out of all my films.
Right.
I think that was something new to me. I was introduced fresh to casteism, and that was something which was really affected me at a personal level. And I think that throughout the shoot of Article 15, I was not in my regular chubby self.
Right.
Because it was too much. And I think I'm glad I was introduced to that world and to that realm, and I'm glad it was also a first induction for the audiences, Hindi cinema goers in the commercial space on casteism.
Right.
Then moving forward, of course, there'll be more representation, not in terms of just films, but also the actors and the directors and technicians.
I remember you telling me that, in that film you're out of your skin, right? So when you do a film like that, which is not close to your core, does that make you more nervous? Are there any moments of insecurity, like, can I pull this off?
Always. I think when you have lived-in experience of a character, it becomes easier.
Right.
Andhadhun and Article 15, these were the two films which I had no lived-in experience. So you put in more homework or extra work, and there's certain method to it. But I used to be a method actor in college when I used to do theatre. But over the years when I started anchoring, did radio, journalism, I started believing in my gut and intuition. I started reacting more than acting. It really depends on the actor who's in front of you. So you just can't over-prepare. But certain films, yes, like Anek or Article 15, Andhadhun, action also to some extent, because that was like my first in action and in that world. I'm not that person at all. So, yeah.
So you want to talk about action, because you've always spoken about how you've grown up on like larger than life cinema, and you love that kind of cinema. But last year was the first time we saw you do an all-out action film, and it's interesting because even that was kind of anti-casting, because they cast you because you were not the quintessential action hero. So somewhere the quirk never leaves a package, it never leaves you, right? You come with that package always in whatever you do.
What I've learned from the pandemic is that I may not do taboo subjects on celluloid. If it's relatable, it has to be quirky for sure. An action hero, as I said, I'm not really obsessed by making myself look different on screen, on celluloid, but it has to be a different story for people.
Right.
An action hero was relatable, it was topical, it was me versus them, whatever happened, boycott, hashtag boycott Bollywood, in the past couple of years, everything was there in that film.
It was a masala film.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so it was very different. It was very exciting for me, I think.
Yeah. But was it also a step in a direction for you to, for a while at least, move away from the social dramas you've been doing? Because that was like an all-out masala film.
Of course it was. That's why it required a lot of homework. When I was shooting for Dr. G, I was preparing for action hero. I was taking MMA training and everything.
Right.
And since I'm not that person who's action hero, I think the star in the film,
right.
Manav, is very self-obsessed. He's arrogant also at the same time, and he goes beyond self-awareness. So that was not me. So it required a lot of homework, and it was a welcome change for me. But even now, if I get a social comedy which is fresh and which is entertaining, I'll just go for it.
Right. And you've got Dream Girl 2 coming up.
Yeah.
Yes,
but
that's again a very completely the
it is again
zone, right?
I don't think anybody has seen a commercial film where the protagonist is playing a girl after Chachi 420.
Right.
So it's been a while, and again there's a void for that kind of space and humor, and it's really exciting. I think it's Dream Girl first one in steroids. I think it's like that. Yeah.
I remember you telling me that after every 2-3 films you need to do something which is away from your core. Do you still maintain that? I mean, your films are anyway shocking subject-wise for us, and then you push it a step further.
I recently did that with Action Hero. So I don't know, moving forward, I would love to do something which is again different, and it was my first, brush with action, and would love to do that again in future as well.
Yeah. You always said that the kind of actor that you are kind of out of syllabus when it comes to commercial Hindi cinema. So do you want to continue being a part of that syllabus and evolving in that space, or do you want to start a new chapter and get some other textbooks?
There is no rule, I think. To break the rules, you should know the rule to begin with.
But you read it in the rules. You have, right?
It's just not me. I think after Vicky Donor, there was a certain void of certain kind of scripts. I could not really touch that benchmark for another 2-3 years. It started happening with Dum Laga Ke Haisha. So the onus also goes on to the script writers and the directors who believed in me, and they were no commercial actors ready to do that film or genre.
Right.
So they had no choice. So I guess so I'm glad it happened.
Right.
And in future as well, I would love to explore something which is novel, out of the box, and the first attempt in Hindi cinema.
Yeah. So irrespective of whatever genre you do, Ayushmann, what is the one thing you cannot take out of Ayushmann Khurrana? Irrespective of whatever genre of film you do, what is the one thing that you cannot take out of Ayushmann Khurrana as an actor?
I think the simplicity.
Sorry?
The simplicity. I keep it simple. I just don't try too hard. I just I wanted to be as organic and flowy as possible. And also the camaraderie with my co-actors. There's no insecurity because I come from a theatre background, and when you do theatre, you're also ready to do roles which are cameos. For example, Gulabo Sutabo, for example. I take it like a theatre workshop. My mentor, Sujit Sarkar, he directed that film. He asked me for that film. I was like, there was no way I can say no to him.
Right.
So even if Bachchan Saab is taking the mantle and he's taking it forward, I'm ready to be just like a fly on the wall. So you can't just take that out of me.
What about the quirk that never leaves you?
As I said, I have no option but to be risky, and I think taboo is one thing I can get rid of for a while, but not the quirk.
Okay.
I have to stay with that.
Yeah. I know a lot of people over here know this, but I remember last time we were talking, you spoke about how you actually don't watch as much movies. You listen to more music than you watch movies. So you're not the rare actor who also is a musician and an actor. Tell us a bit about that.
There's a notion that a lot of people think that people who are consumers of art, they're also creators of art. They are not.
Right.
Like if you consume a lot of films, you have a lot of knowledge about films, and but that doesn't mean you can create.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So to be an actor or an artist, you need to live life. They all lived in experiences. You need to meet different kind of people, go out there, go to smaller cities, interact with people, and make it as an exercise. When I shoot in smaller cities, I make friends with the driver or local production guy over there. उनके घर से खाना मंगवाता हूँ, उनसे बात करता हूँ, उनसे क्रिकेट खेलता हूँ, ताकि उनकी ज़िंदगी के बारे में कुछ पता चले. Like otherwise we live in a void, we live in that bubble कि हम actor बन गए and there's no growth per se. So it gives you fodder for the characters you're playing on screen. So of course you need to watch films, but you cannot be consumed by watching films. But yeah, coming back to music,
right.
I think music is my first love. I discover a new artist every single day, and I love indie music. I love ghazals, Sufi, every kind of genre.
But taste in music is also eclectic, right? You would tell me these new artists you keep discovering.
I do. मैं फिल्मों के बिना रह सकता हूँ, मैं म्यूजिक के बिना नहीं रह सकता.
So would you say that your life experiences has actually made you a better actor?
Definitely. I was blessed that I started a theatre group in Chandigarh called Aghaz and Manchtantra. We were like 15 odd driven students, and we used to travel length and breadth of the country, and we were just 18, 19-year-olds. So that also makes me better with Indian languages, because every 10 kilometers the language changes, and you meet people from like the lowest common denominator and you interact with them. So the induction was very early in life.
Right.
So I think it really helped.
Right. So lastly, I want to ask you, Ayushmann, the kind of cinema that you've done all these years are way ahead of its time in many ways, and you are one person, I don't think mediums matter for you, because you started in radio, and here you are today, a big star on the Indian screen. Are you fascinated by the OTT medium and digital medium, and does that draw your interest?
I think it's a renaissance, it's a huge revolution, not the we are in renaissance right now. Yeah, it's a creative renaissance of sorts. When I talk about OTT, I think it's like IPL. There's emerging talent, and there's space for a lot of people, and there's great talent out there. And all we need to do is choose the correct medium for a correct project.
Right.
That's the learning from the pandemic. But I think I love OTT, whatever is happening there, especially I recently watched Jubilee. My brother's there.
Yeah.
So I'm so proud of him, and I loved everything about that show. And that's the only thing. And no medium is small. Be television, radio. अगर आप एक artist हैं, आप theatre में भी खुश हैं perform करके. So if you're an artist, you should just be there in any medium. It doesn't really matter.
Right. And lastly, for an actor who's made his own genre of films, is there any genre that you would like to explore which you haven't up until now?
The horror comedy. It's a hint.
Horror comedy?
Yeah.
Okay.
It may happen soon, and I'm really excited about it.
So will we probably see you exploring that right now?
Yeah.
So we'll see you in that genre. Yes, but it'll have that Ayushmann work, I assume.
Definitely, it has to be there. Otherwise, I don't know, it just has to be a little different. Otherwise, it doesn't excite me anymore.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ayushmann. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you, Madhureeta. Always excited talking to you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.